Hi friends and fellow woodturners, Richard Ford here, coming to you from Nova Scotia. I want to introduce a little video today about a new tool. I've been making a bunch of these little shaving brush handles recently, and while I was doing that I read an article by Myron Curtis, and Myron Curtis taught a lot of people to turn, and one of the first things he would do apparently with his new students was make a small gouge, and they would use this gouge to do most of the turning. He called it a drop nose gouge. Now I've made this tool based on what I read about Myron, but I've changed it a little bit, of course, and I've made it much sharper here at the point because I've been influenced lately by Mark Soleil and his concept of slicing. This little gouge will do a lot of the things that a spindle gouge will do, and a lot of the things that a skew chisel will do. And I've been learning how to use it, and I made this video to show what I've learned so far. So without any further ado, we'll get on and watch the video, and I'll show you what I've learned so far. Thanks now.
Safety. It's a big thing in the workshop. If you don't feel safe doing something, or you just don't feel comfortable, don't do it. You're the only person who can keep you safe. And if you don't do it, no one else can.
Hi, welcome to the shop. Just going to do a little demo here. The main purpose of the demo is to demonstrate the use of this tool here. Now, this is a piece of high-speed steel, and I've ground the end so that about halfway down there's a flat on the top, and the bottom has got a 25-degree angle here. At the point it's about 25 degrees, and it has a curve, convex curve, and a convex curve this way. So this tool I sort of developed based on what Myron Curtis, what I've read that Myron Curtis used to make with people he was teaching. He would take a piece of square tool steel, I think slightly smaller than this, and he would grind it down flat on the top and at about a 50-degree angle on the nose, and a radius like this. So the purpose of that was that a new turner could use this tool, could get this tool quite inexpensively, and he would learn to use it rubbing the bevel against the wood. And I thought that was very interesting, and lately I've been influenced quite a bit by Mark Soleil. Mark Soleil preaches and teaches wood slicing, and the way he does that is with a spindle turning gouge sharpened to a very sharp point, kind of like this one. So I combined the two sort of ideas and came up with this gouge, and I did that while I was making some brush handles. So I'm calling this gouge, for sake of identifying it, a brush gouge. Now it's very easy to sharpen. What I have here is a piece of wet and dry sandpaper stuck on a piece of countertop material, just thin flat material, and all I do to sharpen it is that. Now occasionally, I suppose, I might have to go back to the grinder and reform the profile. But so far, that brings up a razor-like edge on the end here. I'm not touching the top. There is in fact just a very slight burr there. That's not the intent to have a burr, but a little burr doesn't hurt. So now that was the intent of me making this little video. A number of people are interested in how I use it. So what I'm going to do is make one of these handles for a shaving brush. What I've done so far, the first operation is to, with a Forstner bit, drill out a hole on the end, and this is a 1-inch hole, and that size is determined by the size of the knot of the brush that you're going to put in here. And I drilled a hole down through the middle that's suitable for this thread on this screw. So no matter what size thread I use, I would have to drill the right size hole that it would thread into it. So what I have here is a little mandrel that has a 1-inch diameter on this end, and this shoulder is 11 millimeters deep. That's how deep I drilled the hole. So you can see that this mandrel will fit in there, and I can tighten up the screw. Whoops, if I have the right wrench I can tighten up the screw. Yes, if I have the right wrench I can tighten up the screw. And that will tighten the mandrel in the hole. There. Now I can mount this block to be turned in my collet chuck, and that means I can mount it in there. If I need to take it out for some reason, I can easily take it out, whatever that is, and I can put it back in again and it will be true. So it's a very convenient way for mounting little blocks of wood for things like this, and quite fast. There. So my first task here is to make it round and to face across the end. Now I'm going to have the dust extractor on, so I'll probably turn the sound down when I'm editing. And it's always good practice to bring up the tailstock. When you have the possibility of any kind of catch or a heavy cut. Not that this is heavy, but it's just good practice. Plus it gives us a little dimple in the end that we're going to need. Now, normally I would use my roughing gouge to make this round, but just for demonstration purposes I'm going to try and use this tool all the way through. And I'll put the face shield on. A bit fast, on about, I like about 1600. Up 1600. Rubbing the bevel, bring it up until it cuts. So you can see there, we've got a pretty smooth cut. This is Paduk. There's no tear out, and that's just using this one little tool. So now I'm going to face across the end. Normally to do this, I would use a, well, what I would use normally would be my bowl gouge, my little short bowl gouge. And this is just a cheap one, and it makes a very nice job because it does peeling and slicing. But we're going to use this tool, and of course I'm kind of establishing where the cutting point is. Not sure if I got all the face cleaned up, but you can see that it's not bad a cut. For end grain. Now I've still got some of the saw marks there from where it was cut. I'll take another cut. There I think you can see some of the advantage of the collet chuck setup here, is that I can take that out, put it back in, and it'll be running perfectly true as if I never took it out. Just finding that edge. I'm not worrying about the middle because I'm going to drill a little hole there. Yeah, I'll show you this one now. So now, you see it's a pretty decent cut. Now, this is the handle I'm making this particular time. So, oh, I lost my pencil. Yeah, found one. This is to scale, and these are the highs and the high and low points of the shape. So I'm just going to mark where these are, and mark these around a little ways. There. So those lines correspond to the highs and the lows at the bottom of a cove there, and the high here and the low here again. Okay. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to put this little recess in the end because it has a little medallion which is glued in there. So I'll just show you my method for doing that. I'll show you this bit just in case you don't have a little dimple in there already. A good way to get one right in the middle is to take a birdhouse bradawl, and by resting it on the tool rest you stop it bumping around. And what I've done actually is pull it down on the tool rest to kind of make it run true. Then you see how true that is running. It's right smack dab in the middle. Now I put a very small drill a hole to help guide the Forstner bit. The Forstner bit, of course, has a point in the middle, so it will guide, that little hole will guide the Forstner bit to help it run true. About 600. Now I know it's 3 1/4 turns. It's 4 millimeters deep. I want to go in there, so that's 3 turns basically. 1, 2, 3, and a quarter. Take that out so I don't cut myself on the drill there. Okay, now I suspect that that's a little bit tight for this. Yes, medallion, so I'll just open it up, and for this I'll just use a skew. Come up to about 1600 again. There, just perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little radius on here, and I'm going to put a little bit bigger hole in the middle, just a little ways in. That's just to give it a little clearance for glue to go down. And what we'll do is put a little radius on the inside here. A little radius in the middle, just to make sure there's no fuzzes sticking up in the middle. Well, that reminds me of something I did about this too. I put a radius along the bottom 2 corners there so that it will slide easily on the tool rest. The top, no, because you can use that. It's nice sharp edges. You can use it to clean up your tool rest if you don't have a file handy. So that's the bottom finished, just sanding to do after this. So now I'm going to establish these diameters, and I have a set of calipers here set to each one of these diameters. There's one, there's a second set to there, third one, whoops, to there, fourth one to the OD, which we'll try and keep as big as we can, and the last one down at this end. So, because the calipers are round, I have a smaller version of this tool. It's actually made from a round piece of steel, but it works the same, and I'll use this just to establish the depths. 1600 maybe. good enough for now. And the next one. Do a little clearance on the side and get a lot of contact here. Good enough. And the third one. And a little more clearance down the side. Go. And the third one, that's good enough. I'm just going to keep it as big as it will go. So now the last one, yep, that's good. Okay, so now I've established the diameters at these points. See this little hooks on the end? I'm off a little bit on this one, so I need to take this one to the left a touch. Fair enough, there we go. So, at these positions I've established the diameters that I want to end up. All I have to do is blend this now from one to the other. Now, I didn't have my dust collection running, I should have done. I expect you saw when I was coming down in here, I got a little catch and I got a little spin back. But one of the advantages I found is, although you can still get a little, not as easily, but you can get that kind of a screw back that you get with a skew gouge. Should be called a skew back, shouldn't it? It doesn't seem as fierce with this, and it's cleaned up quite nicely. There's absolutely no tear out. It's nice, smooth, lovely for sanding. And I'm just doing this little bit here now. I'll just finish off that little piece here and then shake the other piece. A little bit close, don't want to be too close because you're on this and of course it is a scraper too, if you hold it flat. You can use it as a scraper, just to maybe define those little difficult areas, redefine them. And because I've only taken a little smidgen here, there's no tear out. The fact that it's short, and I put a short handle on it, means I can swing it around easily in front of my belly. Not always easy for me to do. And I put a little flat on the bottom of the handle, so when I lay it down, it doesn't roll away anywhere. Hold it high, bring it down till it starts to cut, and roll it over. Establish your cutting point, then roll the tool and twist the tool at the same time. I'm rolling and twisting. There. So I think that's ready for sanding now. The main thing is there's no tear out. It's a pretty good finish. There may be some little hesitation lines here and there, but they'll sand out really easy. There. So that's how I use this tool. I may do one other little video of a finial. I did one the other day, just practicing, trying this little one here, all with this tool. Now this was just old punky wood, and it chipped in places, but I think it's very doable. There. Okay, so if you decide to make one, this is 10mm square high-speed steel, sharpened 25 there, and this is in the middle. This juncture point where they meet. It's in the middle of the tool. And this could be flat too, if you have a way of grinding that flat and you prefer to do that, you know, just so that it's the same as this surface but halfway down, you can do that. This was just the way that I held it against the wheel, the grinding wheel, to do it. And then it's curved this way and curved this way, so that you can do that scooping kind of a motion and still have some bevel to keep with you. And for a new turner, when you're starting out and you're a little nervous of any of these tools, just make sure you've got it anchored on here, rub the bevel, then slide the tool back till it starts to cut, and then just slide it sideways. I'll just drop another one on there and show you that. There, that's that one sanded and ready for the finishing process. Now, because it's now round, it's hard to hold to undo this screw, so that's why there's two little flats on there. You can put a wrench on it and undo it. Once it's started, it will come off okay. So it will now be finished all over, top and bottom, and then the medallion will be glued in the bottom, and the knot will be glued in the top, and we'll have an excellent brush. Okay. I'll just quickly show the starting procedure for a new way to use this tool for a new turner. Now you could have mounted a piece of wood anyhow you like in the chuck, between centers, in a chuck. Anyway, it's just I'm making these, so yeah. Now then, as always, add the tailstock if you can. There's a little extra support. Make sure you're clear. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to put my face shield on. About 1400. Tool up quite a way so that before the bevel's going to rub. And you just pull it down. See the tips coming over the top now? Now you just go sideways until it won't cut anymore. Then you just lift the handle a little more. Cuts again. Lift the handle till it cuts. Then go sideways. Lift the handle till it cuts. And when you lift the handle, that's the depth of cut you're going to get if you keep it straight all the way across. The bevel will control the depth of cut. Right, we're round. And we don't have any tear out. Now, just like with the skew chisel, when you're going this way, you want to angle it this way. When you're going this way, like this. Skew chisel, when you're going this way, see the angle here is about 45 degrees. When you're coming back this way, it changes the other way. Now, with this, the same thing. Good. You just rub the bevel, raise the tool until it starts to cut. Just starting to get some chips coming off. A little bit far away. Move the tool rest in. Always stop the lathe to move the tool rest. That's a safety rule. I'm just picking up shavings now, just a little one. Just move slowly to the left. There. Just a little hesitation marks of, oh well, my tool rest is not the best. But the little hesitation marks, and you stop, you know, and start again. But no tear out. None at all. Very smooth, very nice finish. Ready to sand. So that's this tool. And remember, sharpening, quite simple. Set about your 25 degrees. Just roll it. And if you're not sure, you can put a little layout, little marking, magic marker on here, so you'll see where you're actually cutting, because we don't want to keep tipping it this way, because we'll change all the angles. Now, I seem to have lost it at the moment, but I had a nice little board that had the wet and dry sandpaper one side, and on the other side it had some leather, and so it's really nice to just give it a little hone. After with the leather, just the same action, and you have a really nice cutting edge. Yeah. Perfect. That's it. See you next time.